All right, Ethereum price update. We're going to start off on the daily chart, look at the shorter time frames, and then we're going to zoom out to the weekly and monthly and look at the bigger perspective and where ETH could potentially top out this cycle, not only based in USD valuation, but also looking at ETH BTC. So we're going to look at that valuation as well. You want ETH to be gaining on Bitcoin if you're holding ETH, right? That's the only reason you would be holding altcoins, is it's outperforming Bitcoin. Sadly, most of this cycle, altcoins have not done such a thing. So we're going to look at that on ETH. The macro perspective is what we're going to focus on most, but let's start off just on the short time frame. Again, if you like this video, if you want more content and helpful, educational items to help you navigate this cycle, I have hundreds of hours in education on TA, and I do this full time. So join our private Telegram group and become a better trader and learn how to do this. Okay, so Ethereum on the daily after our breakout here, and look at how we'll zoom out to this Fibonacci scale. But you think that's coincidence that we bounced off the 382 there, right? Went to new local highs, consolidated above previous breakout level, right? That's bullish, right? Holding the EMA 8, back tested it right there. Now we're holding that again. So if we close under this EMA 8, it's not a huge deal, right? I mean, look at this move, right? The fact that you've gone up 80%, over 80% inside of a month, right? You're probably okay to take a breath or two. So if we move down, close under the EMA 8 with like 2 consecutive candles, that would increase our odds of going down to a more significant level. You can see the 786 here, the 21-day EMA around 3,300. That would be relatively normal and expected if we start to close here. But if we hold the EMA 8, you can see our higher zone here, which is our range highs. As we zoom out, we'll see this. But that was the worst case. We'd want to see Ethereum hold around that 3,300 level. If we take a dip here, if Bitcoin remains uncooperative and still keeps dipping towards 110, maybe we see Ethereum kind of maybe tag this. Should be relatively short-lived. This is a pretty significant move, and Ethereum's doing some things against Bitcoin we haven't seen in months or years, which we'll again look at momentarily. So let's zoom out to the bigger picture, the weekly. Put it into focus here. So our Fib extension from our December highs to our paltry $1,400 lows in April, hell of a move down. We're almost back to range highs again. Looks really great. We can see some kind of consolidation after we've got above the 200-week EMA right here, right? See range low wicks, broke through it, back tested that, held it, big move up. Now we're above all moving averages very quickly. This has been a very strong move out of Ethereum over the past couple of weeks, obviously, if you've been paying attention. So now we're at range highs. Could we consolidate here? Sure. Again, there's that 786 on the back test. And if you give it a week or two, this EMA 8 is going to be right there. So it would all make sense if we kind of hesitate after certainly is 80% move inside of a month. You're allowed to take a break, and this would maybe go into kind of a bull flag formation, and in which case we'd likely breach to highs not seen all cycle. So now, looking at the good stuff, like how high could we go this cycle? Well, the 1618 is way the hell up there at 8K. But I'll show you why I'm not convinced that we're going to get quite that high. And this would be based on ETH BTC valuation. Is it possible? Sure. If we do get up there, I think it'd be fleeting and with some kind of a blow-off wick move. I am not in the boat that we're going to see anything higher than this this cycle, unless the asterisk would be if we go into 2026. Go into some kind of super cycle, then sure, 10K is on, who knows? But I don't think we're doing that either. I still think we're going to peak sometime in 2025, likely in Q4. But ETH is set up for a bigger move here if we can kind of maintain EMA 8 weekly. So as of now, the EMA 8 is right at 3,000 and rising quite rapidly. So we'll see where that updates on the weekly close. Looking at this perspective, like you can see the last cycles, the 1618 is at 13.8. Again, I'm just not really convinced, and let's look at why. So if we just go to the ETH Bitcoin valuation, we can see now it's done some significant moves over the past couple of weeks, right? Not only against USD, but against Bitcoin that we haven't seen really all cycle, or really since last cycle even, right? We've been pretty much bearish against Bitcoin for years. All cycle downtrend, epic downtrend. But look what's happening. We've just closed above the 50-week. Really, for the first time, you can maybe argue that, but that's not really convincing. In over 2 years, May of 2023, and that was fleeting. Look at the bar here. When is the last time we've seen a 26% move against Bitcoin? It's been a hot minute. Now we're still in a downtrend. Obviously, all the moving averages are moving down, but look what's happening. An epic right turn out of the EMA 8, now crossing back over the 21, which is always a great sign. When is the last time we saw that? We haven't seen that in literal years. Since the bear market. Really towards the end of the bear market, right? That's significant. You want to look for anomalies that have not happened in a long time, certainly with a market cap, a coin like Ethereum. Certainly with putting in moves against Bitcoin. Those are significant things happening that we have not seen. We came up to the 21 EMA, consolidated for a long time, a couple of months, then finally broke through, and we actually closed above the 50-week EMA. Now we're consolidating right near the 382. Our next move should take us near the 0.04 valuation. And you can see this zone. This is a near 5-year zone or longer, right? If you go, you can go back and still see significance all the way back to 2017. You have range highs there, range low wicks, range low closes, range highs in 2019, range highs in 2020, range lows in 2022, range lows in 2024. You think this zone's not going to be pretty significant? It's going to be. The 618's right there. The 200 week is right there. The 100 week is right here. The 0.5 fib is right here. So from 0.04 to 0.048, maybe you can call it 0.05 just to round it out. Okay, it's right in that wheelhouse. This would be kind of that maybe bullish wick here. Okay, so what gives? Well, let's pretend Bitcoin's going to top out around 150. You can use your imagination, whatever you think Bitcoin's going to, okay? Type in that price to your calculator. 150,000, okay, just for simple round numbers. If you times 150,000 by 0.04, that will give you a $6,000 Ethereum USD valuation. So whatever your price in Bitcoin is, you just multiply it by this number, whatever these numbers are, that will give you your USD valuation. So keeping that, assuming what if we wicked up to 0.048? Well, Bitcoin at 150K, this will give you a $7,200 Ethereum valuation. Now, I'm not doing these in my head. I'm not that good. I've already pre-done these. But if you're wondering, how the hell is he doing that? Okay, so you just multiply the Bitcoin price. Now, if you think Bitcoin's going to 170, great. Do 170,000 times 0.048, you're going to get a higher number, right? So it's going to be beneficial, assuming ETH can continue to pull its moves against Bitcoin. But in my book, and also based on ETH BTC book, going back 7+ years, this is the significant level. And I highly doubt ETH has got the stones to close above the 200 week. So that's 0.046. Maybe with a wick, we can see something crazy. So if you want to see those 10,000K numbers, well, Bitcoin's either got to go higher. That's really the only, in my eyes, that's the only way ETH is going to get to those $10,000 valuations. Bitcoin has got to go to 170, 175 or higher, and ETH has to go to 0.045, something like that. So this is critical, and I will, I'd make a pretty much rock solid guarantee that ETH BTC will not close above the 618 this cycle. I just don't see it. We're running out of time. If it's going to close in this at the end of Q4, it's like the end of this box here, right? There's the end of the year right there. We've got to keep it going. Not too much. We can't hesitate like this again. Maybe one more time. And that's also assuming we make it to the end of the year. What if we peak in August, September? Or if we have one more final move in the next 30, 60 days? For sure, this seems significant, right? So maybe this is a little eye-opening to you. Now, the fact that, let's go back to USD. Actually, let's stay right here and flip it to the monthly. We'll simplify all this and put it even closer. Like less count. Now we can go all the way back and look at 2016, 2017 here. Right? Range highs again. Range lows. Look at all the range low to range high. This zone has been pretty significant for ETH BTC for almost in its entire life here, right? Since the first rally. 0.04, 0.05. The 21-month EMA is right there. 0.5 fib, 0.04. There's the 100-month in the blue. 100-month. 0.043. There's too much going on here to think that this is just going to blast through here, which it would likely have to do to get to like 10K, 8 to 10K valuation, right? There's our high. Maybe we get a high wick again up here. Highly improbable to close even above that 50-month, right? Look at the low wick. Closed above it, right? 50-month. Look at that resistance right there. For just 8 months or so. No big deal. 0.046 with the high wick. Right around the 100 months, 50 month. That's it. If you want a $10,000 ETH, $8,000 ETH valuation, you better hope Bitcoin gets above 150K. There's my 2 cents. All right, that's ETH USD, ETH BTC, wrapped up in a paltry 12-minute video. If you want more updates, requests, more education, want to look at all my indicators, how I set everything up, right? We talk about all this stuff in our private Telegram group we can get access to through Patreon. Check that out. It should be linked below. Send me a message if you can't find it. I'll help you. Quote of the day. When it loads, it's not blank. Although sometimes just thinking about nothing tends to work out well, right? Do some meditation. It's not going to load. Should we look at the car first? We'll come back. It was loading. Now the car's not going to load. Everyone's clicking off at this point. Good God, man. All right, let's go back to the quote. It loaded. It's like we're on dial-up here. Laughter is the closest distance between two people. All right, we'll take it. You're not laughing. You're not happy, right? I think that's the definition of it. All right, McLaren 750S in Paris blue, Chainlink blue. Might as well call it Chainlink blue. All right, let's look at the rear. Smoking some tires, of course. Why wouldn't you? You're not driving this car like your grandma, right? Look at this. Bucket seats. That's an option. They don't come like that. All carbon fiber. That comes like that. The whole damn car is carbon fiber. Really light. One of the lightest supercars you're going to see. Super aggressive front end. That's definitely me. That looks like me. Factory roll cage. I'm not sure about that one. Exhaust pretty cool. Active arrow. This wing actively changes as you drive, brake, accelerate. Super cool. All right. We'll end it there. I'll move to the UK if you're going to buy me one of these. I'll see you soon.